and welcome to our Gold participants. I'm Fiona Lang-Sharp, IBCLC Public Relations Manager and MC for Gold Lactation Online Conference 2016. I'm sitting down today with Denise Altman, who's going to be speaking for us, and she's going to be presenting on growing your private practice. Well, welcome, Denise. It's great to have you today.
Thank you. I'm thrilled to be affiliated with Gold once again.
Well, we're delighted to have you, and of course, we've gotten to know you. I've gotten to know you over the last few years, but I would love it if you could introduce yourself to all of our audience who's listening in today. Tell them a little bit about yourself, and then perhaps you can tell them a little bit about what you do, because now you are a business mentor for lactation consultants. So why
That's
don't you
correct.
take it away, Denise?
Okay. I am private practice, and basically what that means is I work for myself. So when the phone isn't ringing, I'm not getting paid. So it's two hats in one. I run a business as well as function as an IBCLC. So I'm helping mothers and babies and also learning how to manage my income, market, do math in all sorts of new and different ways that I've never had to do before, the whole nine yards. So, as far as the business mentoring, this is actually my third business. My husband and I owned two together before this one, which we have since sold, and they
Mhm.
were successful. And so I've been a private practice lactation consultant since 2003. And I fell into business mentoring by accident after years of exchanging phone calls with newcomers to the field and offering advice and suggestion and reading over business plans and that kind of thing. A friend of mine from Ireland actually said, "I want to pay you." And when I refused, she insisted and said, "I'm not going to ask you any more questions until you let me pay you because this is a business too." And I started thinking, maybe I really should be doing this more. I love it. It's my passion. And so really that's kind of how I fell into it.
Well, that's wonderful. And it just goes to show that, your hard work in many areas has paid off, not only for you, but for all of us out there who need someone who can help us translate. And that's kind of how I see you, Denise, is that you take all of that business stuff and you help us, you break it down and you can translate it really well. And so we all need people like you in our lives. So it's wonderful to have you here talking specifically to our lactation consultants about private practice. Now, Denise, I don't know if you know, but this is our 10th anniversary at Gold Lactation this year, and we are celebrating big time with all sorts of great events and prizes. And, we've extended our conference so that lactation consultants around the world can have further access to the content of our conference. Now, when we think about these things, it's been 10 years, we can't believe it, but there's a lot of reflection. Where have we come from? What have we done? A little bit about your story as well resonates with me because, you've worked hard. So I want to know, perhaps you could tell me about some of the changes that you have seen, perhaps even in your personal world, in business, or in just the things that you've seen in the lactation field over the past 10 years.
Certainly. The most interesting thing that comes to mind when you said it's been 10 years of gold, that's kind of hard to believe, but I actually spoke at the very first gold conference, and I believe, if I'm remembering correctly, I actually had to do my session over the phone. I think that's how we recorded it, as
Old
opposed to
school.
today, very old school. I had to call a special number, I think, if I'm remembering correctly. Of course, the memory may be foggy. I also did not need special glasses to put on to read the words on my page of my outline. So yeah, that's a small thing.
Yeah.
The biggest thing as far as the field of lactation, 10 years ago in 2006, I was able to attend for the very first time a conference for private practice
Mm.
lactation consultants and had no idea there was such a specialty. In my city alone, not every hospital even had an IBCLC or a breastfeeding helper for that matter.
Mhm.
I had already spent several years convincing my community of the value of my business, teaching doctors and other healthcare providers that yes, mothers would want this service, would pay for this service, that it was very much needed. In the U.S., our government certainly didn't recognize the value of breastfeeding, and of course, when our Surgeon General came out with such a resounding statement on how breastfeeding support should happen for new mothers, it was a real boon to our profession because finally we had official recognition, from the very top all the way down. So it's amazing. All the hospitals now have lactation consultants. They have outpatient services. La Leche League is a very much visible part of our community still. With They have changed with the times, and they have virtual support groups. It's just amazing how mothers recognize that they need help and that there is help out there, and that our profession is a valuable one. So to me, that's the biggest change, is the recognition.
Well, what a great change that is, just to think where we've come from and how I feel in some ways it's exploded onto the scene. But I think that we've just started talking to each other and we've come together as private practitioners. And I've seen many people come through the ranks, from people who were working in facilities, some that do part-time. So I think again, it's just a wonderful asset to be part of this community where there's so many options. Once you know, right? Once you find out that this exists, it's just a wonderful element to have as part of our practice as well. So, I kudos to you, Denise, for keeping this rolling and keeping things moving forward in the past 10 years. And like I said, Gold is delighted to have you speaking to this particular subject this year. So as we move forward, I just have one little more question. Of course, I ask all of our guests a little bit about this, but tell our audience what they have to look forward to when you speak at on the day.
Okay. I am going to try to communicate my passion for how owning your own business and owning your own private practice allows you to be creative. This is something that we as lactation consultants can find intimidating. We know we want to help mothers and babies. We know if we're going to have a private practice, we're going to charge a fee for this, and we know we need to know about some basic business skills. But this piece of it, growing your own practice, is important because it may be difficult to just earn a living on consults alone. You may have to diversify. You may have to expand your business. And yeah, it's a little scary, but it also can be very fun. This allows you an opportunity to kind of reinvent yourself and reinvent your business to keep it fresh, to keep your passion going. And it may even be an opportunity for you to merge your own personal interests with what you actually do for a living.
Well, exciting stuff, Denise. I was just thinking as I was listening to you talk through all those things that you're just such a great sounding board for anyone, and that's how it feels when you're presenting. And I have been part of your presentations before, but it's always so great to get that feedback and just learn so much more. So I'm really, really excited about sharing you with our listening audience about this growing your private practice. So thank you so much for sitting down with us here today, and we'll look forward to having you at our Gold Lactation Online Conference 2016, celebrating our 10th anniversary. Thanks again, Denise.
Thank you, Fiona.
And thanks to our listening audience. I hope everyone has a great rest of your day. Bye-bye for now.